Um, oh, it is cold. It was cold last night, and it was cold the night before, but it warmed up in the day. It was cold last night, and it's still cold. Um, and I had a rough night. I had almost zero battery charge on anything. I had to trade. I had to give my wife. Actually, I'll start at the beginning. I went to Lazy Acres to pick up or to go and have a tour, walk through the trailer, and then it was delivered today, and it is in its place, which I'll show you in a little bit. But in doing that, I met with Raven because it was over close to where Raven's staying in Washago and Washago, I don't know which. I've got my arms crossed because it's cold. Actually, I'm not afraid to show that I need some warmth if I can get this thing on. But anyway, so while I was at Ravens, there, um, we did a few business phone calls, and I had got called the day before for some part that came in for my truck, but that's out in Waterloo because the dealership in Bancroft that deals with Dodge and stuff are, in my opinion, the absolute crap. Mine and many other professionals that I won't name who I have talked to in the area say the same thing. So it's not just my experience. I can't stand that place in Bancroft, the Dodge dealership. So I go all the way to Waterloo to Buster dealership, and they are amazing. They always are on top of everything. Um, so I've got a part in, and Raven happens to be going to her parents in the car, so we switched so she could take the truck to get this part put in. And but the thing is, the car is on its last legs in many ways. It's just a beater car, but it doesn't have the cigarette lighter doesn't work, so I can't charge anything. I couldn't use the GPS. Luckily, I've driven the route a few times, so I was pretty good, except for the beginning. But I drove back, with my phone using the internal GPS, Google Maps, using up batteries there, and so it was drained down, and I had nothing to charge with, and I was almost out of gas for the generator, so I was just in a off mood from a few things, and just stressed because I had the delivery guy bringing the trailer over in the morning, and I'm thinking, what if he doesn't have the address right, and he needs to phone me, and my phone's not working. So I had the phone off all night, didn't listen to anything, just in case, and I had this little bit of batteries. And luckily, he came nice and early. And I remember now, I think they did say 10 o'clock or something, 10:30. So that was perfect. It worked well. The guy, I wish I remembered the name of the company, but I do have a photo of the back of his truck for the company. He was amazing. They were amazing. The guy on the phone the other day who called up about it was excellent. Good professional business. Lazy Acres, I've been told, is the biggest dealership selling RVs and trailers in Canada. Um, yeah, it's definitely got that big business kind of, but they're busy. They're really busy, and they don't have a lot of time. Any of the places I went didn't have a lot of time. They were very busy. But with a big dealership like this, there's a certain vibe to a big dealership. But I must say they were on the ball. They got everything done in perfect timing, sped things up. They were patient with me because I was trying to get financing and holding off the last payment in case I got the financing and stuff. And they were good. I could tell I could tell I was annoying. But they knew circumstances are not average anymore, and no, they were good. I was quite happy with their service, um, and quite happy with the delivery guy. Um, And now, I was just, now that I've warmed my hands, this is the Red Honey Costa Rican coffee bean, and it's green, so I was going to roast myself a cup now that a certain amount of things are done, and I can actually think. I'm still waiting for Hydro to get back to me, so if I do get a phone call and it blanks out this video, you'll know what stopped the video. It would have been Hydro calling to say when they're connecting my electric. Oh, I hope. But it was Raven this morning on the phone that said, well, maybe you should just call Hydro. And I said, okay, I'll call them. Because I thought everything was done and I was waiting for them. And it turned out they were still waiting for some little thing to be signed or marked in, some number that I didn't know. So I went through a few little hoops. Two ladies I spoke to were fantastic. It was just so nice to talk to real people on the phone. I've been so stuck in these voice jail things with these computer voices and stuff, going to the next. It's mind-numbing, to say the least. So these ladies, it was actually, honestly, I could say a pleasure just having moments to talk to a human being. I wonder if that's what you call hydrotherapy. Silly joke, but hey, I'm cold, so my jokes can't be very good in this weather. So I'm doing my personal choice of amount of beans into my little roaster, which I've roasted one coffee's worth of beans so far the other day, and I was pleasantly surprised with how easy and quickly this roasted the beans. I could not believe it. And then I've got my little Easypresso hand grinder waiting for those beans. Please don't knock that. And it's great. All I just do is swirl it around like I'm doing Jiffy Pop. It's just, yeah, it looks like a Jiffy Pop thing in a way. It reminds me when I was a kid. Because it's so cold out, I'm just wondering if I have to let it. It's warming up quickly though. Actually, this is a good hand warmer. Wow. Yeah. Oh, this coffee will taste good. This coffee will taste good. This coffee will taste good. So I mentioned it's Red Honey Costa Rican coffee, and it's from some specific, it was narrowed right down to the, is it called a plantation? Coffee plantation? I guess so. Coffee farm. And it's a high altitude part of Costa Rica where this coffee place is, where they grow it. And the red honey is a name given to the process. And they evidently there's a black honey and some other different levels of intensity or sweetness. There's a subtle sweetness to it. It's really interesting. Yeah, it's also a little bit windy, so it's blowing the flame around a little bit. So it's probably taking a little bit more just to get to its initial warm heat that it needs. I ordered a separate lid to use later once it has just a little thermostat thing built in, and that way when I get really professional and I've got just what I like, I can get it down to a consistent flow, and I can always put out the same level of roast that I like. I can replicate it, I guess you could say. Oh, there's this really nice smell. I think that's the honey smell they're talking about. Just before the real coffee smell comes out. Oh, gosh, that is something else. Like, you wouldn't go, hey, that's the smell of coffee. But it's just a beautiful, sweet, not quite like the sugar bush in the spring, you know, the smell of the sap being boiled, but it's in that range of really nice, sweet smell that goes so nice with the smell of nature. That's what made me think about the maple. And seeing we're in Maple Leaf, Ontario, that would make sense. So I'm gonna just get it as close as I can. I guess I could really, oh, it's too hot now. Could just pull this thing out, and I can get closer. Make sure I don't step on that now. Just waiting for that little crackle sound. Oh, there's, just started. Oh, it is sort of like popping corn in that way, only you get less of the pop. You know, let's just see. What, just stir down a bit before I try and take the lid off. I don't know how. I did it last time. Oh, yeah. Pocket Leatherman is always good. It's amazing how quick this keeps roasting. Makes me a little nervous, but yeah, still crack. Oh, that's very nice.
Look at that. It's like, oh gosh, beans should be roasted outdoors. What a lovely combination of smells.
So just let that cool down a little bit. And there's little husks that come off. I'm the only one drinking this coffee, so, you know, obviously if I was doing it for someone else, I wouldn't be blowing on it. There we go. Put away my handy dandy trusted Pocket Leatherman. I've had one of these for well over 20 years. I used to carry it with me onto the plane to go to Europe and back again, and never would it be taken off of me. Not like today. I brought all my tools, all my tattoo equipment, all the needles and stuff with me by hand on the plane. And they would open it and look through it. And I remember, if I said tools, they say, no, you can't have it on the plane. If I said art supplies, then they just said, go ahead. Like, it was amazing how just the word made that difference at that time. Okay, so I am going to get these, which actually is going to get rid of here. Oh, I have a in here. Oh, it's Chris. It's Chris, the Bohemian Bread Man. This is, yeah, definitely have to find an in between to get the beans from this into that. Put this back on. Get my water boiling. And I'll go on part 2 with my lovely coffee.